What's up, world? This is We Need the Fifth. This your man Mo. Got my man Hill in the building.
It ain't iceberg, but listen, it's still Mickey.
Got my man P on the line.
What up, world? Only if y'all could hear the the pregame before we even get on the air. What up?
Tim Brown in the background. What up?
Yes,
Yeah, I'm loving it.
the late
First,
great one.
let's start with there. Let's give rest in power shout outs to the late great Jim Brown passed, I believe Friday. Um, Also, give another shout out to the late great Doyle Brunson, Mr. Poker himself, one of the poker godfathers, if you
Texas
will.
Dolly,
Yes, sir.
Super System.
Um, so definitely shout out to those great men. They will be sorely missed. Condolences out to their family and their loved ones. NBA conference finals are in full swing, fellas. Let's start out west. Out west is the Denver Nuggets versus the LA Lakers. Denver is up 2-0. Fellas, I'm gonna be honest. As a Laker fan, I'm worried. I'm concerned. Denver looks hungry. And in particular, the Joker looks hungry. And I'm not talking about the type of hunger where you get up from the table and say, I'm not waiting for you to bring me a plate. I'm going to go in the kitchen and get the food myself. That's how Joker looks right now. Am I the only one seeing this?
No, Denver definitely has a belief. We spoke off air about this. Like Denver has like a high level of respect for the Lakers, but they have no fear of the Lakers.
Mm-hmm.
So I totally agree with you. But I think the Lakers are okay. I think Lakers Denver held serve. They wanted their home court. But yeah, I think LA obviously has to play better, but I wouldn't be too worried. I look for them to pull a win off. I think tonight at home.
Yeah, look, I agree with you, P. I think it's going to be 2-1 tonight. And even still with Denver, they're still running that chip on their old shoulder type mentality. I see Malone after game two stated that like this was more of, they were saying like more of an indictment that the Lakers blew this game or they were close in game one. It just seems like we're not getting any type respect. Now you guys are getting respect, Malone, but it seems like you're still putting that battery into his players, which I don't think they need because I believe this it's a talented team. Joker, yes, I think they did a nice job in game two, but having late sparks with Caldwell Pope and Michael Porter hitting 3 threes in a row. And the steady person for me has been, regardless of him going almost an over for 3 quarters, Jamal Murray taking off in that last quarter. Like he has any moment where he can give you 12 to 15 points like that. This is a well-constructed team. Uncle Jeff comes in, gives him quality minutes. I love Denver. From a Lakers standpoint, I saw a few things. Neutralizing Joker, when I say neutralize, still a triple-double. But making Aaron Gordon more of a focal point, who seemed to lose all confidence on the offensive end, which is allowing LeBron to pretty much play Joker or Rui play Joker and AD playing a free safety and Denver playing 4 against 5 and still winning. There's some things in which I think the Lakers still can tweak, mainly 23% from the three-point line with LeBron James. I think they should tweak that. Maybe he should go just more into the arc and just create like he did with against Golden State. But their defense with how it's 4 against 5 because Aaron Gordon's been playing, but I think it's 4 against 4 because D'Lo's been neutralized. I mean, he's almost like Steph Curry on defense now. Bowen is, I mean, they're all looking for him. They're switching on pick and rolls, and I don't know if he's going to be playable.
And to that point, for me, when I watched the game, it never felt like the game was out of Denver's reach, even when they were down at certain points during the game, it never felt like they didn't have a handle of the game and that they weren't going to win it. And at this point, I'm worried about a sweep. I'm hoping they win tonight, but from everything I've seen and how Denver's been able to react and adapt to what the Lakers tried to do, they look like they're in full control of this series, and that they're comfortable. I don't think, even when the Lakers are pulling close, never felt like Denver was out of it or felt like Denver was uncomfortable with the situation, you know. And I hope I'm wrong. I really do.
I don't know about you two, but I do feel more comfortable with Denver's ancillary pieces. They have more defined scorers. I feel that even Michael Porter's 13 to 15 are big. His defense on the other end is good. I mean, Jamal Murray. You have Brown comes off. You have Brown that comes off. They're just more stabilized scoring team with Jokic giving what he's got. It could fare tough for the Lakers if I just don't know what I'm going to show up. LeBron's giving me 25, and AD is giving me 40, and he's giving me, what, 19, 18?
And honestly, and I think that's part of the equation for me, that
Who else from LA?
LeBron is giving me 25. I feel like he's not having a good series, if that makes sense. And I feel like, hey, for the Lakers to be successful, he has to be better than what he's been, because I think what I'm looking for is, usually in the past when LeBron's had good teams or championship contending teams, there's a moment in the series where he just turns it on or he turns it up a notch. Even going back to his time in Cleveland and in Miami. And I don't know if he has that anymore. And I don't know if just the 25 is going to be good enough.
He was you thinking, like, they didn't see a Steven Adams. They saw a 6'8" Draymond. I mean, we talk about Joker's mobility, but he still is 7 feet. You know what I mean? So is that a push that we're getting from, the Joker and AD thing, and we're just not getting enough from the others from LA? Because Hachi's coming to play. It just doesn't seem like that whole fluid situation that they had in Memphis and Golden State, where everyone played a part and LeBron was the facilitator. I think year 20, I cannot have the offense ran through LeBron as a scorer as opposed to him being a facilitator.
Yeah, I think so, like what you and Mo was talking about. I think maybe he has like 1 or 2 of those games in him in this series.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Maybe, but we were talking about Mo made a point, like the Miami LeBron. Yes, that was almost like a decade ago.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So, like you said, year 20. I think we all agree. We spoke about this previously. AD has to be that guy. And also, he needs support. Like Austin Reeves has been pretty consistent in the 2 games. Rui, you need more from Russell. You know what I mean? Yeah. Defensively too. Like you just do.
I was just about to say that.
Especially in these games where LeBron, like you said, if LeBron's going to get you 25, they're going to really need it. Where I think Denver's advantage is, I don't think it's so much the ancillary players. I think that almost cancels out. I think if Joker doesn't have a great game, Jamal Murray could have a great game. 30 plus, where we're not sure about LeBron doing it. You know what I mean? But
good point.
I think a LeBron, well, put this way, the way I'm looking at it, LeBron has to be at least the 3rd best player in the series. Like if he's the 4th best player in the series and behind Murray and Joker, then it's probably over. You know what I mean? But I think he can do it. It's just, he has to do it for the next 2 games just to get back in the series at this point.
Where's that offense from this bench?
The Lakers bench.
Schroeder played decent. He's played okay.
Yeah,
So
Schroeder's
I
played
can't hold
okay.
anything about Schroeder.
Rui Walker, I think they have, they
Fine,
have the
enough.
guys. Yeah, they
Right.
have enough to do it. Defensively, I think they caught on to something with Rui sticking Joker and letting AD basically play free safety.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
To AD's credit, I've seen him do this. He's good at like not getting in foul trouble.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? He's pretty good at that. So I like their strategy of basically putting Rui on Joker and let AD play free safety, help defense on him. You know what I mean? Like Joker's gonna do. I mean, at this point, we know what it is. He's a good player, but you want to contain him. You don't want him just getting wilt numbers the whole series.
Mm.
For me, I think LeBron and AD have to be in the 70s as a combined.
Oh.
They have to be in the 70s, especially if the rest of their team is shooting the way they're shooting, and
Right.
hey, D'Angelo's playing the way he's playing. They have to be in the 70s to even consider being. Think about it. They've been in the 60s.
Right.
This man is like second, or sometimes he might have led in the playoffs a team in blocks, so he's giving it to you on both ends. He can't. He cannot. I mean, he's gassed out there sometimes watching LeBron. It's no way.
And that's what. And for them to get into the 70s, LeBron just has to average what, 5 more points?
Yeah.
Give me 30.
I
But
think.
But AD will give you 19 one game. Like,
Yeah, I think it may be better if you get, that 15 to 20 from those bench plays, like we were talking about, like, the Ruiz, the Walker,
Lonnie's.
Blanies.
Mm-hmm.
I think it might be more likely that they up their scoring to help the Lakers win,
But that's how they beat Golden State, and I think they're capable of it. And Russell gave me 16 points straight against Golden State one time, so he's able to catch and fire. And then Russell's being taken out by Bruce with the head games, the defense, and they're playing one-on-one ball. He's trying to outdo Bruce when Bruce is maybe fifth or sixth cog on Denver. They'll take that for you getting out the game any moment. So, with that being said, they've had chances in both games.
Yeah.
So I agree with you, P. I think the Lakers should win today. But in giving Malik credit, they have chances in both games, and they lost both games. So they have chances in this one tonight and still lose this one tonight. So
yeah, they can have chances in the next two and go home. So like, I think that's where most looking at it. Like, yeah, you could lose by one the next two games. That means the season's over.
Yeah.
As a Laker fan, I don't like the bounce that Michael Porter's showing me now. Like, he's starting to show me now a little bit of cockiness and confidence.
Yeah, and,
you know what I'm saying? That's one guy I wanted off to the side that didn't start to find his own. He's jumping, he's hopping into 3-point shots like it's nothing. He's able to elevate and just dunk and take it to the rack with nothing. And he's giving me like chase down blocks. So I don't need him coming into his own with this whole Denver thing.
And you know what, Hill? Oh, I'm sorry, Pete. Go ahead.
No. MPJ, the defense is what surprises me. The offense, I think we knew he just had to find his way within that offense.
Right.
But yeah, if he's going to be like a two-way play, I don't want to go that far, but he's played pretty good defense.
And that's part of why I say Denver looks so hungry, is that they've gotten players to buy in on both sides of the ball. Like, especially Michael Porter Jr. Like, for him, he's kind of like my litmus test on where they're at defensively, because he never really bought in when he first got to Denver, playing hard, passable defense. I'm not saying he's a defensive stopper now, but with his playoff play, he's shown you that, hey, he bought into their defensive scheme, and he's going to be an active participant. They didn't have that 2 years ago, and like I said, that leads me to my hunger evaluation of where they're at. They're like a team that's starving, and you just put them in Food Town.
No, they look good. I mean, they look good. And I mean, it kills all the theories about what people think the NBA actually wants right now, what you're seeing, being 0-2 and 2-0.
Yeah.
It seems like the cream is rising to the top, whether I like it or not on the East Coast or the West Coast. And shout out Kyle. Whether it be if he's just trolling or not, he's been heavy Denver year round.
Yeah.
And it seems like they've progressed into a team which is totally complete. I mean, we saw some Denver games. They're not unwatchable. Actually, I like the team. You know what I mean? With that being said, a Denver Miami finals, I will be there, but it will be a rough, a tough
Some
rating.
respect on my man's name. And since you brought it in today, let's go to the Eastern Conference Finals. Miami versus Boston. Jimmy effing Butler versus Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. Bam Adebayo on the boards versus the Time Lord and the Williams brothers.
Mm-hmm.
And right now, the number 8 seed, Miami Heat, with Jimmy effing Butler, is up 2-0 versus the number 2. No, Boston was the number 1 seed, right? Number 2 seed, excuse me. The number 2 seed in the Eastern Conference and defending Eastern Conference champions from last year.
Yeah, they smoked the number 1 seed already.
They've been there,
about that. So yeah. An upstart at Knicks team, which is supposed to be the next coming, and now a Boston team in which I thought Jaylen Brown later would have decision in his court. This might something be in a Celtics court later that this thing might not be worth it putting close to $600 million into 2 players. I can't think of any 2 I would rather have them, but clearly something is not clicking here when they're putting up maybe 6 shots in the fourth quarter and they're 1 for 6 between both of them. They're looking bad out here. And we'll get to Miami, unfortunately. But this to me is an indictment on Boston having leads, giving up leads, going back up 12, and then losing by almost double digits.
Yeah. The hate is strong in you today, young.
Yeah, no, we'll have plenty of time to get to Miami. Plenty of time to get to Miami, and they'll get my respect one way or another. I mean, Jimmy will take it as he's showing. But I mean, I'm looking at Boston how they're constructed with Brogdon, with Brown, with Tatum, who is maybe 3 MVP race. Rob Williams, Marcus Smart. I mean, the bench.
Let me ask you this, Hill.
What's going on?
Let me ask you this. With Boston, Marcus Smart is a serviceable point guard, good 2-way point guard, defensive specialist.
Okay.
Do you think Boston would benefit more, or some of the issues that Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum are having at the end of games would be alleviated if they had a more traditional point guard, a more but they're not playing him during those moments.
Well, that's one. I mean, that's on the coach then.
Yeah.
Malcolm is playing well.
Yeah.
Okay. And that brings me to the. Go ahead,
none of us considered Marcus Smart to be Isaiah Thomas for his whole career, I don't think.
Right. I just think it's.
And we're not even talking about the Hall of Famer Isaiah Thomas, are we?
No, we are definitely. I think
definitely. That's definitely the one that I'm.
I mean, the other Isaiah was kind of
careful.
No, he's out the league, Mo. He's out the league. No, he's not.
Okay.
Careful.
Okay.
Careful.
Yeah, he's no.
One year does a career not make. It's just poor execution down the stretch. Like Boston's clearly a more talented team. So I'm watching Miami beat them, and I'm still telling you Boston's clearly a more talented team. The additions of Malcolm Brogdon and White, I hold myself accountable. Once Milwaukee went down, I said it. I thought this was the Boston Celtic Invitational, aka the Eastern
Mm.
Conference. I thought it was a done deal. Kudos to Miami; they proven me wrong thus far. But as far as to answer your question, as a traditional point guard, I- possibly, but I don't think so. I think they just have to get your two best players need more shots down the stretch.
And
That's
that's
it.
part of the reason why I'm saying that, in the sense that when you watch them down the stretch, especially during critical moments, like where you're saying to yourself, we want to get Tatum or Brown a basket. Too often, Marcus Smart has ended up with the ball,
Well,
and he's taking the last shots and stuff like that. And it's like,
I think
and it seems like he's running it with the thought of, hey, I'm supposed to get it back. And it's like, what part of the game is that?
there's
Well,
enough
Jalen
damn.
Brown Jalen Brown is traveling. Jason Tatum's traveling. I mean, these guys that like Pete said, just execution in the end. These guys from Golden State aren't late in game like pressurized players, but they are at times though, because I watch them in Philly and Jason
Mm-hmm.
Tatum performs and Jalen Brown performs. They're just too inconsistent for that. They can do it.
Right, because they've done it before. So I don't think it's the point guard. It's enough playing to go around. You could blame Marcus Smart for giving the ball, but I feel like Malcolm Brogdon and White handles the ball just as much. So you could blame them. You could blame coaching, or you could blame the players saying, "Give me the damn ball."
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Like I feel like I don't think to me, I mean, Gabe Vincent's playing well. Lowry's a veteran point guard, but I wouldn't consider either one of them traditional point guards. But the ball finds
Mm-hmm.
Jimmy Butler when it needs to find Jimmy Butler.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So to be honest, so it could be the player because we know Jimmy Butler is that alpha will tell the team knows, all right, get me the rock. Bam is having a hell of a series, but he knows, okay, this is Jimmy's time. He needs to at least touch the ball, not necessarily take a shot, but touch the ball to see if he could draw a double team and make a play for someone else. And of course, we've all sung Coach Spo's praises. So I think it either comes down the alphas have to be alphas and the coach has to make sure it gets there. One of those things have to happen. And I think the execution down the stretch for Miami is that you have a coach that's going to make sure Jimmy gets the ball. You have a player in Jimmy that's going to demand the ball anyway. So Jimmy's getting the ball down, when he needs to
Against
get the ball.
decent to elite defenders. Elite being Robert Williams on the back end, decent being Jalen Brown, Tatum. These are good defenders. On the opposite hand of it, Max Struss, Gabe Vincent. I don't care how much scheming and smoke screens that what you call him
Coach Spo?
is that Spo is showing you. When Tatum has the ball, Tatum is considered an elite offensive player. And for some odd reason, he's dribbling off his foot. He's losing the ball. He's succumbing to pressure.
Yeah.
It's not like he's going against Jeremy Grant or Robert Covington out there who can match up with him in height. Jason Tatum has a distinct advantage until he goes up to the hole against Bam. Mm-hmm. He's taller than Jimmy Butler. There's nothing that should be stopping either one of them from attacking. I've seen him play tip attack. For some odd reason, these guys come up short. And I put that on Jason Tatum and Jalen Brown. Not a point guard, not the head coach. I think in certain spots, these guys freeze. And it's the wrong times. They still have to take the shot, whether or not they get the ball in the right time and right place. These guys are still getting it from 7 feet from the basket to 20 feet away from the basket. They're still turning the ball over and becoming indecisive. I don't know. It's the jitters or what. I know they're not nervous players, but something happens to these guys in which they're not poised.
Let me ask you guys, is there a coach under a hotter seat than Joe Mazzulla right now? Left in the postseason?
That's left? No.
Yeah.
I don't even think he should be, though.
Yeah, I mean, because you got to think half the coaches are winning. You know what I mean? And the other one is Darvin Ham. So I don't look as Darvin Ham under the hot seat. But yeah, we went over this coach, how the coaches are being shuffled around.
So you think that Joe Mazzulla has no culpability in where Boston is right now?
No,
down
no,
two
no,
two
no.
zip.
I think plays are being drawn up same formula as they were last year with MA, and these guys aren't execute. I think it's execution. He's not going out there playing them. I just don't think they can execute. They don't have to me an elite defensive team on the other end. They have hardy, good defensive players, but they don't have an elite defensive team. I think these guys aren't executing to what is being put down. You know what I'm saying? They're up. They're having mental lapses. They're up 17. They're up 12, and they're giving away these games. Something's just going on there, and I don't think it's coaching.
So you would be comfortable going into next season with Joe Mazzulla if they get swept?
Absolutely, sure, heck yeah.
Pete?
Yeah, I mean, he coached them to the Eastern Conference Finals, and don't get me wrong. I think this would be a disappointment in everything. Like this, this is not the end goal. But again, who are you going to get? One of the other coaches that already got fired? Like, I can't blame the coaches for everything. Like I can't, you know what I mean? Like we can't say Jalen. We can't praise Tatum for scoring 50, and then when he loses the series, or if he does get swept, say it's the coach's fault. You know what I mean? Like
the Basketball Coaches Association, please send your checks care of P and Hill, please. Please
I mean,
send
you
your
got to
checks
have some
care of
accountability. Well,
yeah,
I mean, you got to have some accountability.
Yeah, before you send it, I'm not really. I mean, I guess in a way I'm defending the coaches, but what I'm saying is I don't think that important. That's really what I'm saying. I've seen Phil Jackson without Kobe and Shaq. I seen Phil Jackson coach the Knicks.
Mm-hmm.
The Zen didn't work so well on 34th Street.
And but you have example of great coaching and what it can do for a team right there in Miami, right across the street from right across the aisle.
But if Phil Jackson created the greatest, like, and I think that's what people argued about, is Phil Jackson better than Larry Brown. Larry Brown's done much more with less talent.
Right.
And like Phil Jackson, like I said, was on 34th and he gave you trash. Then it ran out the whole building. Right. So I mean, you need the horses to win these races. Right.
And great as coach, we all again we sing his praises. Hell of a coach. He's on almost, in my mind, he's almost a different level as far as coaching. He's good for a win. The only championship he's got is with Dwayne Wade, or Dwayne Wade and LeBron James. As good as he's coaching, if he wins the chip, he could prove me wrong this year. But the more talent, obviously, the better chance. Greg Popovich, it's been like 10 years since he's won a chip, right? He hasn't, it's a little bit easier to win with Tim Duncan than without him.
I think he'll be chip chasing soon, though, P.
Why do you think that? Why do you think that, though?
Yeah,
hey,
because
he's going to be a better coach
because
next
of the horse.
Like, he's just going to be a better coach next year. It has nothing to do with it.
But my thing is like this, especially at the NBA professional level. I think coaching matters so much for me in the sense that, I'm thinking that Pop is going to be championship chasing because, to your point, he has a great talent coming in. But I also know that coaches can ruin a great talent and turn a great talent totally around and don't know what to do with a great talent. And then at that point, it becomes how great is that person really? Like, for example, Kobe Bryant could have been ruined by Del Harris, especially after that Utah fiasco and all that. It's just fortunate for NBA or basketball fans that Kobe Bryant had some inner fortitude within him that, hey, he chased down greatness regardless of who was coaching him or how badly they were coaching him. But outside of that example, and that's an outlier for me, coaches can ruin a great player's potential. And hey, what were we saying about Wembanyama going to Houston and how we felt that would deal with
but that's
his potential.
That's organizational, which includes coaching, but I'm talking coaching, general manager, vice president, owner, all the way up. What I'm saying is talent is just more important. You know what I mean? Like coaching is important. I don't think it's that important, but at the end of the day, give me Duncan over Popovich. That's what I'm telling you. Give me LeBron over Coach Spo.
Okay. So what are your pictures for these series? So, Denver versus LA. Where you got that? Now that we're 2 games in.
Yeah, this is not fair now because I got some more information.
Uh-huh.
And I'm gonna try to say Lakers in 7.
P?
Get back to me after tonight.
I picked the Lakers, so I gotta say Lakers in 7.
And I picked the Lakers, but I'm changing that up, and I'm saying probably Denver in 5. And I think I'm trying to be nice because I'm a Lakers fan.
I think Mo likes to run in the front, not towards the middle of the pack and to the back and let the race play out. He one of those guys who like to stay in the front and run.
Yeah. Hey, listen.
Really hard decisions when you stay in the front and run.
Hey, call it how I see it, man. You watching the game? Hey,
man.
Hey, y'all just heard me speak for the last half hour talking about how Denver was ever uncomfortable during the games. It looked like they were like, ho hum, business as usual. Let's get to LA.
They protected home court advantage.
Okay.
Boston, on the other hand, I guess we get to your guy. We didn't get a chance to give your guy his praise, which I said I would. And that's Jimmy. That's Jimmy Butler. And I say get to him, not give him praise.
Who did it? The Butler did it. That's who.
At the minimum, I'll give you this. They buy into whatever he's selling. I'll give you that. As a team, organization, they buy into everything that
some
guy
respect on Jimmy F. Butler's name, yo. Put some respect on it. P, you gonna give my man some respect? You gonna put some respect on his name?
I actually thought that it was. I was excited to watch him and Grant Williams. To be fair, because I thought personally, it was an old school matchup of equal quality. I thought they both should be going at each other back and forth.
Whoa! Now you just being disrespectful.
I wanted to see them go back and forth.
Being hurtful. You're being disrespectful. The hate is. You had a full cup of haterade today.
I think one of the funniest things was that the thought was maybe Grant Williams was throwing rocks at guys. It's probably one of the funniest quotes I've ever heard. I couldn't have more of an equal matchup, in my personal opinion. It could have been if they went back and forth and cleared everyone out. I couldn't tell you the difference.
I don't even know what that means. No one knows what it means, but it's provocative.
You're just being disrespectful
There's
right
no
now.
difference between Jimmy Butler and Grant Williams whatsoever.
P, can I get some respect on my man Jimmy Butler's name, yo?
Do you think Grant Williams
I'm talking to you now. I can't talk to that guy over
Grant
here.
Williams should be second team All-NBA?
Absolutely not.
Absolutely not. That feeling that you have, it's the same feeling I have with Jimmy Butler. You're totally like, no way in the world like Grant Williams.
I mean, what does he have to do for you? What do you need, Hill? You need scoring? He gives you that.
Right.
You need him to play defense?
What attributes I need from Jimmy Butler? I'll give you a few. Not many. Just me personally. I need him to have a dribble, a jump shot, not walk, not pump fake, not jump pass.
And he'll give you all of those things, Hill.
Just a few. Just a few to get to me where I can actually enjoy him as a player.
P.
Yeah.
Can I get your word on Jimmy F. Butler?
I think at this point, he's just going to take it.
Come on, man.
No, this is a Kawhi situation. I saw this movie already because I was not a Kawhi guy. I saw him at San Antonio. I thought they had to give the Finals MVP to somebody.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, so he got it. Mm-hmm. But that Toronto run is like, that solidified him. And I think if Jimmy Butler, if he could get to the finals, I think it'll solidify him. Like you could make an argument he's a top 5 player in the NBA.
That's
You know
terrible.
what I mean? Yeah, I'm not saying he
that's,
is.
No, that's reality. Hill.
It's a legit
reality.
argument
Reality.
because you're going to tell me Giannis, Embiid, and Tatum. If he makes it to the finals, obviously he made it further than them in their conference. So you could legitimately make an argument that Jimmy Butler's a top 5 player in the NBA. Oh, well, you can do it now, but if he makes it to the finals, I don't think it's going to be very hard to argue that he's not.
Thank you, Pete. You
Because
brought some sanity back to the
here's
show,
what I
man.
get. Here's what I get from a Jimmy Butler standpoint. I get he's going to will them to win. What that means to me, I never know. Talent-wise, I say to myself, he's talented to get him there. No, I don't think he's that talented to get him there. What? He's good enough to get them to the finals, and that should mean something. If that has to put him in the top 5, yeah, sure, because I'd rather have someone that's good enough to get me there as opposed to someone who's just strictly just talented enough to get me there, because I don't think he's talented to get me there. So when you're telling me he's willing these shots in, because he is a subpar three-point shooter, he's making threes. That's will. He's not a good three-point shooter.
He doesn't take a lot of threes, to be fair to him.
No, but he is Mo, but his percentages from 3 are very good in playoffs, and that's will. But when he does take threes in a regular season, he's a bad three-point shooter. He's not a good three-point shooter. Even when he does, even though he limits his amount that he takes. It's not his range. It's similar to DeRozan with it.
Yeah,
DeRozan's pretty much the same way. DeRozan gets on the streak where he's hitting threes. It's willful. They're not comfortable taking threes. They're just on a heater.
Yeah, to your point, Hill, like, Joel Embiid, in my opinion, is a more talented player. At this point, I think Jimmy Butler might be a better player, just going off the results.
I don't even if you go might. You might just say he is the better player. But to me, he's not. Yeah. And who cares about talent when you're giving me results?
Right. You got a Lamborghini in the garage that doesn't work. That's not going to get you. That's not going to get you.
Volvo's taking me to work.
Yeah,
my family.
Yeah.
Give me the Lamborghini though. I'd rather just look at it in the garage and walk to work.
My man Jimmy Butler is going to take his respect. He's going to take it.
He's doing it.
If he goes to the finals, what is there to argue? But I don't think he's going to make it there. I got Boston in 6. I mean, because Miami is such a fringe basketball city. 9 times out of 10, they're there for the first quarter, and then they're out to Collins and South Beach. So there will be no home court advantage in Miami. You know what I mean? I think Boston will be fine. They have won there already. So
I got Miami in 5.
I'll bet that. I'll take that easy. Don't be surprised Boston take the next 4. They're a better team.
All right. They don't have the Butler though.
Nah, you're right.
They're a more talented team. We're going to see if they're a better team. They're definitely a more talented team.
Correct.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Correct. Let me change that. They're a more talented team. Absolutely right.
Hey, hit us up on social media. Let us know what you guys think. Who do you guys have winning the conference finals? Do you agree with P and Hill that Boston will be able to pull it out? Or do you agree with me that, hey, the Butler will get away with another one? Let us know on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. Don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel. Hit that notification button. Hit that like button so you know when the next video is coming through. And don't forget to subscribe to the podcast wherever you're listening to this podcast. You can also hit us up directly at weneedafifth@gmail.com. NBA draft was last week. Draft lottery, excuse me. Not the draft. NBA draft lottery is last week. And we had some winners. We had some losers. But I think we can all agree that the biggest winner was San Antonio Spurs, who secured the #1 draft pick for the upcoming NBA draft.
Symbiotic. I think Wembanyama and San Antonio both won.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I think we had 1 winner and 29 losers.
Mm-hmm.
You don't think there's another talent in this draft that could be a game changer for an organization, or could be an extra piece? for
Oh yeah,
organization.
I think you have someone that could be extra. Like I think Scoot Henderson, the kid from Alabama. I think they'll be good players. But we're talking generational players. Like we're just talking. Basically, we're just talking about Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum. So you might have players like that, but we're talking Wembanyama is someone who could like win you chip after chip, potentially. You know what I mean? Like,
and we're gonna play devil's advocate right now. There's this hype around Wembanyama and what he can potentially be.
Right.
But not too long ago, young man from the Memphis Grizzlies, who went undrafted, I believe it's Kenny Lofton.
Right.
He dominated Wembanyama in a game.
Okay.
To the point where that game was part of the reason why he has an NBA career right now.
Does he though?
Well, actually, yeah, he I think he was like the G League MVP for whatever that's worth, or whatever. Yeah. But Kenny Lofton, he's good. I've seen him play. He can ball.
Absolutely buried on Memphis.
Yeah, but what was that? What was Wembanyama? 17, 16 at that point? Like we've all seen high school players, be the guy in high school, then years later disappear. So that doesn't really worry me.
No, I think this happened last year, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay,
it's not like this happened before Wembanyama's name was out there.
Like I said, Kenny Lofton's a good basketball player, so it's not like some bum scored on him, outplayed him in a game. I think Kenny Lofton's a good basketball player.
All right, so if that's the case, if he is a good basketball player, why does that translate to him being buried on Memphis? Cream just rising to the top if you have talent.
No, Memphis is talented. Despite there
lies my problem.
Despite their first round exit, that's a talented team. That's a tough lineup to crack.
Well, Dylan Brooks is all right. So here's my thing: Dylan Brooks is off the team, so in slots Kenny Lofton then at the 2 guard. Well, he plays a 3. He plays a 4.
No, I think he plays a 4.
But
if you're talented, you'll find a spot. Like your talent, we're talking Wembanyama being generational and possibly being the greatest high school prospect or NBA prospect of all time. And you're equating it to Kenny Lofton busting him. If you're talking about the all-time greatest, which I think might have been Kareem or LeBron to me, but if you're going to say Wembanyama's going to surpass them, and whoever in their time beat LeBron or Kareem Abdul-Jabbar during that time, whoever that was to beat them, you felt, says a lot. And this guy is buried on Memphis. I don't care how good Memphis is, and if this guy is generational and he busts Wembanyama, I'm not buying it. That's all I'm saying. I'm not buying it.
And I think part of the reason why I mention it is, hey, should we slow down a little bit on the Wembanyama until he gets to play in the NBA? Because it feels like we've already crowned him, just like with LeBron. Hey, he was called the king before he got even set foot on an NBA court. Should we slow that down, for Wembanyama, especially considering his size, his frame, and the tendencies for large guys or big guys to get injured and stuff like that.
No, I mean, you can, do what you want, but I just feel like the NBA basketball fans at large, it's fun to project. You know what I mean? Like I'm not saying he's going to be the GOAT, but I do think he is the best prospect I've ever seen. If he gets injured, he gets injured. If it doesn't pan out, it doesn't pan out. But his height and his skill set, that combination, in my mind, makes him the best prospect I've ever seen.
Yeah, I listen. I saw those games, and I listen. I like Kenny Lofton Jr. I said, wow, he's big. He's supposed to. I didn't think of it as a forethought. Even when he lost, I said, Wembanyama is special. I don't care how many losses this guy has. Generational is the best way to put it.
Right. We've seen Christian Laettner beat Shaq. How'd that work out? You know what I mean? Christian Laettner, I think he maybe made one All-Star game. No shade to him, but you know, people get better, people get worse. He's 19 years old.
Yeah, I think we'll see a lot. It has no worries. Put it that way, no worries whatsoever. And I do agree with Wembanyama because if you telling me Scoot is the next best thing, you got to tell me why Scoot is going to be, because Wembanyama is going to be generational and Scoot is going to be very good. Is what you're telling me?
Yeah. Westbrook, Derrick Rose, John Wall.
All right. My whole thing is if Scoot is still in the league and Evans is not, I have a problem with
it. Tariq?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, it could go that way too.
He's better than that,
Absolutely.
yo.
Whoa.
I think he will be. I think he will be. I definitely think he will be. That second pick is who?
I think we're doing revisionist history now. Tariq Evans was a top
Tariq
5
Evans
pick.
wasn't a bad player.
And he was the rookie of the year, averaging 20
Right,
points, 5 assists, and 5
Absolutely.
rebounds. Just like Oscar and LeBron.
Absolutely.
Those are the numbers he put up. Those are the facts. 25 and 5.
I think Scooter will be better than
No, come on. I'll put money on that as we speak. I'll put money on that as we speak.
Yeah.
You don't think he's a better shooter
Than Tariq Evans? No. I think he's a better scorer. No. I don't think he's a better shooter than Tariq Evans. No.
Okay, so
no. I think Scoot's a nut, period. I think it's a nut in which he has no reins for him. It's a whole different beast, and Tariq has proved it in the NBA.
Yeah,
you can't, that he could play with the big boys. There's no way I think Scoot will be able to do. Like, if you're telling me Russell Westbrook, you're telling me nothing.
Yeah, if you're asking me to slow down on Victor Wembanyama, then Scoot Henderson averaging 20 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists his rookie year. Might want to slow down on that too. Like those are pretty gaudy stats. I know Tariq Evans' career didn't pan out like that, but that rookie year was pretty good.
And honestly, there's some question on whether Scoot will be in the top 5 because of the teams that are involved.
Oh, I think he'll be top 5.
Outside of Charlotte, you can. I mean, if they stick to what his traditional role is, because I think they have Scoot listed as a point guard, if I'm not mistaken. Charlotte doesn't need a point guard. Portland doesn't need a point guard. Matter of fact, you could argue that Portland doesn't need a guard at all. Houston doesn't need a point guard.
Add him to that circus.
Who's their point guard? Who's
Porter?
Green, right?
Porter is.
Oh, okay. And Detroit doesn't need a point guard. They drafted that with Cunningham.
They have like
so,
8. They have eight point.
Yeah. But yeah, you could move Cade to you could put him anywhere. You could put him at the 2, 3. In this NBA, you might could put him at the 4.
I mean, but 6, Detroit, to Hill's point, Detroit is kind of guard heavy as far as their roster.
Well, that's kind of why I said it's 1 winner and 29 losers. They could have used a center, right?
To me, you added him to some circus. That's what you're gonna do if he's in the top. Well, he's in the top after Wembanyama. He's added to some circus.
Yeah, I don't think these teams have this choice to pick by position. I think if you think Scoot's the best player available, you pick him. You figure it out.
Absolutely.
If you got to play him and LaMelo, you do so. Because I just saw Luka and Jalen Brunson get to the conference finals. Those are 2 point guards, right?
Yeah,
I was just about to say
good though.
The only thing, the only team that really had a shot at it was Charlotte, and that's if they decide that, hey, we just going to take him as a guard and put him with LaMelo and see how they do it.
Yeah,
I don't mean to cut you off. That to me just says Scoot's not good. Because if you're that good, the second best player, I don't care where you fall, you should just be able to be good.
Yeah. I agree.
Are we missing that point? Like, if he is who he say he is, and Wembanyama's picked off the bench, you're not caring where he's going to fit in. He's going to fit in because he's that good of a player.
Right, and I know it's a 1-2 difference, but I believe the Rockets had Ralph Sampson back in the day. Olajuwon is available. They didn't say, "Oh, we already have a center. We're going to pass on Olajuwon."
Hmm.
Same thing with San Antonio. We have David Robinson. Oh, why would we get Tim Duncan? We already have a center. No, I think still sharp and still. Because basically for Houston, that Houston situation and that San Antonio situation, you had two centers playing. It worked. Relatively speaking, it worked. So I just think, just get the talent and figure it out.
I just don't think he's that talented. That's the problem.
Yeah, again, best case, John Wall, Derrick Rose, Russell Westbrook. It could go OJ Mayo, Tariq Evans.
Yeah, but let's just say it goes to the point where you think it is with John Wall and Westbrook.
Right.
Okay.
I mean, it sounds good, and they're good plays, don't get me wrong, but if your ultimate goal is a championship, that ain't it.
I'm so out on Scoot. It's unreal.
I think the Miller kid has a chance maybe to go number 2. Like to your point, Mo, if they're really worried about position, they could go Brandon Miller. If they think it's close,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but where's Danny Grange at now, though?
Again, it could be Paul. It could be Paul George. It could be Danny Granger. I don't know where you want to go.
Oh man! You got Paul George, Danny Granger. I got Robert Horry, Danny Granger.
Oof. So your ceiling's a little bit lower than mine.
Is that low?
Danny Granger? I'm thinking career-wise. Huh?
Okay.
Brandon Miller, I think, okay. I feel like I'm protecting a young kid now. Brandon Miller, I think, could be a Paul George Tatum. I think he has the potential.
Wow.
But again, he could be Danny Granger. But he could be Danny Granger.
And y'all know how nice Paul George is, too, which is fair. I'm giving y'all that. Y'all know how nice he is.
And for the record, saying that for Brandon Miller, I believe what I saw in the tournament, and I'm more inclined to believe that, hey, honestly, you picking him in the top 5, that might be a wasted year.
Wow. I think he's clearly a top.
He's clearly a lottery pick. He's clearly a lottery
I think he's clearly a top 3 pick. I didn't see the guys from the overtime elite. So I'll say he's clearly a top 5 pick.
That's a twin. But what's wrong with Danny Granger? I'm just curious.
Well, really, it's just the injuries. It's just the injuries.
Okay.
He healthy. He was. I think at his best, he gave me like 25 a game. Danny Granger's not a bad. That's not. Okay. I guess I'm thinking career and not his peak. If Brandon Miller has average, obviously averages 25, they'll take it.
See, for me, I'm thinking more Danny Granger, Ben Simmons.
What? Well, I think there's no
I have some real
Oof.
questions about his mental toughness. Where he's at with that.
Oh, Mo,
honestly,
if you have questions about his mental toughness, I'll say that towards a Ben Simmons that way. But
yeah, that's what I mean.
But talent-wise, I don't think anyone in America is next to Ben Simmons. I don't think Ben Simmons has talent. I don't.
Fellas, what's on the radar?
I would say mom. Yeah, had me mother. I finally got through it.
I'm sorry for that.
J-Lo at her fine and worst. And that, it wasn't a tough watch. It was a confusing watch and a disappointing watch.
P, what's on your radar, man?
My radar, good old boxing tonight. Lemachenko versus Haney, lightweight division. There for that. And also, apparently on the undercard, Muhammad Ali's grandson, Nico Walsh, is on the undercard. So, I'm gonna watch some boxing tonight, in addition to the Lakers Nuggets game.
Let me ask you this, Hill, before we go. Ngannou signed a new deal with PFL. What do you think about that? What's your thoughts on that?
He finally inked it?
Yeah, and he has a little bit of an ownership stake in PFL Africa, I believe,
Right.
as part of the deal and stuff like that.
Right. He did what's
So,
best for his family. I mean, Dana wasn't going to acquiesce to what he wanted money-wise. He has a set price in which he wants to pay and still keep his proceeds as UFC owner, which he has the right to do since he owns it. And Francis didn't have to renew his contract, and he found a better deal for him. I think it's great. It sucks for MMA as a whole because I think UFC is still the premier fighting arena, but I can't knock him in for knowing his worth. So I'm happy to put it that way.
Okay. All right. What's on my radar? Western Conference Finals. Conference Finals. Period. Today and tomorrow. So interested to see that, and interested to see the journey my man Jimmy F. Butler takes to grab all the respect he deserves. Because I think he's showing that, hey, he's a legitimate star in this league and needs to be respected as such. Look at that.
For the record, Adam Silver, I'm not one of those. So if you get a call and you got to do what you got to do, I won't be hurt by it. Trust me. So if the Lakers got to win the next 4 and Boston got to win the next 4, I'll close my eyes and close my ears. I won't care about the skeptics or anything. You got to get this right. This can't happen. Trust me.
Wow.
Someone say he's on a roll after the Spurs getting lucky in winning the lottery.
Wow.
You don't see me arguing. I have no problem with that.
Wow. The conspiracy theorists. The haterade.
Now I'm wearing the tinfoil hat on this one. Yeah, for the Spurs, yeah. Give me the tinfoil hat.
You can't stand for Miami, me though. Come on, don't do this, Silver. Please, don't do it.
Let's do it.
For the sake of eyes, don't do this.
On that note, fellas, it's been real. Hey, thanks for listening. Hit us up on social media. Let us know what's on your radar. Hit us up on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Hit that like button. Hit that notification button so you know when the next video is coming out. Don't forget to subscribe wherever you see the podcast or wherever you listen to your podcast. And hit us up directly at weneedafifth@gmail.com.